Question: where do you hide your sneaky stuff? I didn't have a place, so this week I built a place. You know, this way I have some place I can hide my fancy jewelry, cash, or even a water gun. You're supposed to play dead. Let me show you how I built this end table that isn't only beautiful by itself, but has two built-in hidden storage compartments. The first thing I did was move a sheet of plywood to my workbench and cut it into pieces with my Triton track saw. If you're interested in a set of plans with a cutlass, then check out my website for a link. I'm using a walnut veneer ply, but of course you can make it from any wood of your choice. Now the sides of the body will be identical to each other, so to make sure the dados for the shelves lined up perfectly with each other, I actually cut one giant panel that will be both parts, then cut in my dados. And I'm just making multiple passes with a single blade on my table because I didn't want to switch out the blade. But this way, at the end, I could rip it right down the center and have two matching parts with no alignment issues. Next, I edge banded. If you go with solid wood for your build, then you'll be able to skip this part. But since I'm using ply, I bought the matching edge banding and used my super jaws and an iron to band all sides that will be exposed on the final product. With the pieces cut and prepped, I could now start assembling. I'm using DAP's Weldwood wood glue here. This is an interior only wood glue, but with it being an end table, that works great. To hold things together as the glue was setting up, I threw in a few brad nails. This will leave a small hole I'll later have to fill in, but I don't mind. If you want to skip this step, then setting it in clamps until the glue dry is the better way. Now the shelves can be slipped into those dados in the center. I thought about gluing these, but I didn't really see the sense in it, so I left them dry and just pushed them flush to the front. Push out your gut! Okay, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. With the rectangle done, I flipped the units on its back and applied a few lines of glue, then popped on the back. Again, I shot in a few brad nails to hold it in place while the glue dried. Dang it. I didn't put the sneaky thing on. I gotta take this off. Good thing I caught that. One of the sneaky features I want in this open cubby is it's gonna have a faux panel. To create this, I need to put in some spacers, and it's gonna be way easier to attach these from the back if the back is off. I made these spacers from scraps and pre-drilled a hole, then enlarged this hole to 1/2 inch. I found some magnets with a hole in the center so that I could run in a screw, making the magnet flush with the top of the wood. Now I can apply glue and a few brads to stick them flush to the back of the cabinet. A few things to note. I made sure that I was in fact placing these flush to the back and not the front of the unit. Without a back, it's easy to get it backwards. And also, I'm using DAP's Rapid Fuse wood adhesive for a lot of these joints because it sets super quick. Once those are in, I once again attach the back. Now let's try out the storage. I created the front panel out of walnut so that it blends on a little bit more, and then this actually started off at 3/4 inch ply, and then I just planed it down, planing off the back. This way I can slip it in there, and if you're not looking for it, then nobody should have any reason to go in there and explore further. But if you need something, you simply pull your finger on that finger pull and then grab whatever it is that you stashed away. Now in order to make this stick, I'm gonna actually glue some washers to the sides here so that those magnets will hold it in place. So you can either pull this all the way out, or you can simply knock it down, grab out what you need, and then fold it back up. Sneaky. Yes, onto the drawers. I set that aside and cut all of my 1/2 inch pieces to make 3 drawers. So let me show you the end product so that you understand what I'm going for, then show you how I got there. Imagine that the cabinet is back here. The idea is to pull out the drawer, which is gonna look like one single drawer, but then these are gonna be hinged where you'll be able to lift this up. Oh, shoot. They're gonna be attached to where that can't happen to you. But the idea is that you're gonna be able to lift this up on a hinge and then have this entire drawer of sneaky storage that, again, if you're not looking for it, you shouldn't be finding it. Real quick, let me pause and thank this video sponsor, which is Pecos, the maker of this rock solid, compact, portable table. This thing will hold over 3,200 pounds, but only weighs 25. It has a patented leg storage system where they tuck easily inside the table, but can be assembled in 10 seconds by pulling them out and twisting them into place. The height comes out to 34 inches, so you don't have to hunt over those short ones ever again. Then, looking down at the feet, they all have orbital feet that adjust to uneven ground, meaning you will always be able to find level. This thing is perfect for a multitude of different activities like camping and grilling, but I've been using it in my shop a ton. It has a groove around the perimeter to keep anything from rolling off. It can break down or set up nice and quick and has a built-in handle to carry it around. Also know that the work surface is FDA approved food grade so that you can go from the workshop to a family cookout with the same table. And for the first time ever, you can get $100 off using the code April. I made the drawers just as I normally would, with glue and brad nails. I made all the sides from 1/2-inch ply, then the bottom from 1/4-inch MDF. I repeated that 3 times, then took the 2 that will make up the sneaky drawer, as I'm calling it, and stacked them on top of each other. To create this opening, I'm going to be attaching a piano hinge right back here along the seam. I always use a small pre-drill when using a piano hinge because the tiny screws can be difficult to start. Okay, let's see if this works. Yes, it does. Of course, outside of the cabinet, I can open it up all this way, but whenever there's a shelf here, I'm only gonna be able to open up maybe like that much. But my intention is just to be able to reach my hand in here, grab whatever it is I'm stashing, and then sneakily close it. The next thing to do is attach it to the slides. So what I do whenever I'm attaching drawer slides is I always attach the back part, I'm gonna call that part A, to the body of the cavity first. Now with these then, to make aligning it to the drawer easy, I put in a small spacer to bump the drawer up because you don't want it rubbing against the bottom of the shelf. In my case, I want to go with as small of a gap that I can get away with as possible. So I'm going with a 1/16, and I'm just using scraps for this. Now I can set the drawer on top of these spacers. I'm gonna use a pre-drill and the screws that came with the slides in order to attach it to the drawer. And this is a really simple cheat to make sure that your 2 parts align perfectly whenever you go to close the drawer. Yay! This is gonna work, folks! After repeating to make and attach the bottom drawer, I was ready to attach the drawer faces. I lined it up so that it was flush to the sides, but had about an 1/8-inch gap between it and the top drawer face. Cute! Oh, I love this drawer pull. And that is the body done. So now let's make some legs for it. These legs are going to go on the outside, giving it a really unique and modern look. I wanted something to contrast the walnut, so I went with maple for my legs and started by milling down a chunk that would yield all 4 legs. I cut out a template to use to create this shape, which by the way I have for sale on my website if you'd like. They also come with the plans of the end table. I first traced the template onto my maple so that I could take it to the bandsaw and get it roughly cut out. At this point, I'm staying outside my pencil mark, but removing the bulk of material. This way, I can now attach the template to the top of my board with double-sided tape and use the router table to get it exactly flush and perfect. This will ensure that all 4 legs come out identical and makes it very quick. I couldn't find my super tall flush trim bit, so I made this cut using first a top bearing bit, then switched it out for a bottom bearing bit. And Triton routers for the win here for having a lift system in their routers so that it's quick to make these bit changes. After getting it cut out, I took it to my oscillating belt sander to sand it smooth. But the gradual curve in this piece didn't work with the belt, so instead I took it to my armor bench and used a bench dog clamp to hold it in place while using an ROS. This pad has a little more flex in it, so it doesn't reshape the leg as I'm sanding. Then I took it to the bandsaw and resawed it in half to create 2 of the 4 legs. Beautiful. To get this inside face smooth from my cut, I went back to my oscillating belt sander, and this was a more perfect job for this tool. Okay, legs are done, so now it's just a matter of attaching them. I took out the drawers because I will need access to the inside of the cabinet. I ran into a little bit of resistance, but it was nothing my head and a foot couldn't overcome. To work with gravity on attaching the legs, I flipped the unit on its side, laying it on a cushion to protect said side. Then I used a speed square to mark off the location of each leg. I just made 2 marks at the front and the back on both the top and the bottom so that I would have an intersection to line up the leg. Once there, I held its position in place with a clamp, then screwed it in from the inside. First pre-drilling to make it easier to sink into that maple. It can be tricky to find center of the leg. You can definitely use a tape measure to figure out the offset, but I love to make jigs for this sort of thing. I screwed 2 scraps together that are set at the distance of the top. This way I could flip it around using that same front edge of the cabinet and now have a visual on where the leg starts. So that all I had to do was bump over slightly to hit center. Oh! I guess it would help if I used long enough screws. Much better. Let's set it on the ground, throw the drawers in, and take a look. Oops. Ooh. It's icky. How does it look? Yeah! That looks great! Yay! The reason this project came together so smoothly is that I was able to model it first, getting both the look and function just right before I began to build. The modeling software I used is 3D Experience SolidWorks for makers. It gives you great design tools for just $99 a year. I'll leave you a link in the description for an extra 20% off. Obviously, I love it. Now, I can't take credit for the legs. My buddy, who actually just quit his job to do custom woodworking full-time, designed this for me. I never would have thought about putting the legs on the outside like this, but love the look of it. If you have a custom special piece in mind, I'll leave you Eric's information down below. As for my end table, I threw a coat of finish on it, tested out the different hidden compartments, then crossed off yet another item on my to-do list. I really hope that you have enjoyed this project. Don't forget that I have the templates as well as a set of plans with a building material shopping list and a cut list available over on my website. Guys, I will see you on whatever it is I'm building next.